Respected Gulati sir and my dear friends, uh, very happy to see a wonderful strength of 48 candidates today who have joined us for the webinar. Before I get on to the topic proper, may I kindly request Brigadier J.S. Gulati, CEO of Flame Carrier Academy, to say a few words. Gulati sir.
Thank you, Ashish. Good morning, boys and girls. I find a few names here who have joined us for this third episode. For their benefit, I am Brigadier Gulati. I am the director of Flame Career Academy. The rest, we know each other. Today is part 3 of the webinar, What, Why and How of the SSB. To recapitulate, part 1 was stage 1, part 2 was the GTO, and today in part 3, we will have the interview technique. Boys and girls, as you are aware, SSB is a very unique and one of its kind interview, which lasts for 5 complete days. In these 5 days, a comprehensive personality scan is done for each candidate to assess his suitability to be part of the officer fraternity of the armed forces. One of the 3 assessors at the SSB is the interviewing officer. He conducts what is called as the personal interview, which lasts anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour or even more. Boys and girls, there is no syllabus for the SSB. The interview is based on the PIQ form, a copy of which is available to the IO even before you meet him. Thereafter, from the moment you ask permission, may I come in, sir? Your body language, etiquettes, confidence level, communication skills, awareness skills are all at display. Your responses to his questions is the way forward of the interview. Believe me, in those flat 60 minutes, this IO, through question and answer, knows you as well as you know yourself. That is absolutely clear. And these questions which he asks have stood the test of time over the years. Today's episode will be conducted by Colonel Ashish Sharma. Let me acquaint you about him. He's an ex-NDA officer, commissioned into the... Hello. Boys and girls, for those who are... there is some background music, please switch off your mics. Okay, I was at Colonel Ashish Sharma. He's an ex-NDA officer. He was commissioned into the artillery AD, been an instructor in his alma mater, that is the NDA, and at the Air Defense School at Gopalpur. Boys and girls, he has been deputy president at 2 SSB, 21 and 31 SSB. In addition, he also has the distinction of having been director recruiting at Army headquarters, a post from where he issued notifications up to the time he issued the joining instructions. So he is the most qualified we have in the environment today to be here to speak to you on interview technique. Over to you, Colonel Ashish, for the conduct of part 3.
Thank you very much, Gulati sir. Thank you very much for a generous introduction. And I would like to, at the outset, I would like to thank Flame Career Academy for giving such a wonderful opportunity to interact to the candidates who are aspirants for the defense forces. I'm so glad 10 more have joined in last few minutes. Okay, so just give me a moment so that I start sharing my screen. Okay, as the Brigadier Gulati has already told you, today is the third session, and today we shall be covering an overview of the interview technique, which is used in the Services Selection Board for selection of the potential officers for the armed forces in the Army, Navy, and Air Force. Okay, so before I get on to the interview technique proper, we must understand what is the role of the SSB. Now, I'm sure you agree, every selection system is meant to select right material for a right job. If I want a computer engineer at a mid-level management, he certainly has to have a computer degree. he has to be apt with the whatever is the kind of languages which my organization using, so that he also grows and the organization also grows. Similarly, the SSB select potential candidates who, after training at various defense academies, would become effective and acceptable officers in the defense forces. A candidate in the SSB is viewed from three directions. The candidate is viewed by the IO, by the GTO, and by the SIT. All three assessors are assessing the same 15 OLQs, but their way of assessment is different. The interviewing officer, as brought out earlier by Brigadier Gulati, in an interview of about 40 minutes, extending to 1 hour, maybe more, using his interview technique, assesses you. The GTO, Group Testing Officer, by giving you simple situational tasks in the practical field and in the abstract field, assesses your personality. And thirdly, the psychologist is the one, by means of projective tests, he unmasks you. You see, what happens is, whenever we meet, we always want to put across the best of us. That's a human nature. If I meet you, I'll put across the best of the things to me. A candidate would tell me, sir, I'm a very hardworking guy, I'm a very determined guy, I'm a very socially adaptable guy, so on and so forth. This is a mask. All of us have got masks in front of us. And what these techniques do is they try to unmask you and try to see what are actual you. What is the factory thinking? Okay, right. So we all are aware of the schedule of the SSB. Just to recap, in a two-stage selection system, on D1, you have the stage 1 testing. And those of you who are retained in stage 1 and recommend for stage 2, on D+1, you have site testing when you have the 4 tests. D+2, you have GTO 1, which extends to about 5 to 5.5 hours from mornings 6 to about 11:30. You have 5 to 6 tests. And on D3, you have the balance of GTO tasks extending to approximately 4. The interviews are conducted on D+1, 2, and 3 after the site test and the GTO test. That is, the site tests generally finish at about 9 to 9:15. So from 9:15 in the morning to 9 o'clock in the night, the interviews are conducted. Similarly, on GTO 1 day, when the candidates are available by about 11:30, from 11:30 to evening 5 or 6, and similarly on GTO 2 day, from 10:30 onwards till the balance of the interviews are finished, the interviews are conducted. D+4 is the conference day when the whole board assesses each candidate's demonstrated performance. So how have you performed in last 5 days in each of the techniques? And then the whole board arrives at a decision as to whether with this demonstrated performance, should you be recommended or not recommended. Those candidates who are recommended have to undergo the medicals at the local AFCME or the MH at next to your SSBs for about 5 to 6 days, which we shall talk about it at the end of the presentation. Okay. In the interview, your true personality is assessed. Personality is defined as a dynamic organization within the person of those psychophysical systems that determine his unique adjustment to the environment, a definition given by Gordon Allport in 1961. Okay, now, before I get on to the proper interview technique, those candidates who are recommended in stage 1 and go for stage 2, in the evening, there is documentation and filling of PIQ, Personal Information Questionnaire. But PIQ is filled in duplicate. 1 copy goes to the IO, 1 copy goes to the psychologist. This contains practically all the information about you, and the IO or a psychologist forms a mental image about you before you have even met. Let's see what are the important details in the PIQ form. The PIQ form, it's a very, very simple and a self-explanatory form. However, certain points which need to be emphasized. I shall tell them as we go ahead. Your name has to be exactly as per the matriculation certificate. There is no scope of any spelling mistakes, public any version. If it is Mahinder, Mahinder in your matriculation certificate, you will not write Mahindra, Mahindra or anything. Anything which is similar sounding or anything of that sort. It has to be matching 100% as per your matriculation certificate. Father's name, no doubt. Place of residence. Now this has got three columns, Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie. The maximum place of residence, present place of residence, and a permanent place of residence. Please be factual. Please write the things. At this juncture, you may not realize what is the importance of this. But this takes a lot of importance. Once you get selected in the SSB, the police verification is sought from all these three places. I would not like to tell you what is the gravity of this. If at the time of commission, the police verification has not come, it will have a very, very serious ramification on your commissioning. The next paragraph wants details about your state, religion, whatever minority communities, SC, ST, OBC, your mother tongue, date of birth, married oblique single, whatever data is there. Parents alive, and unfortunately, if not alive, what was your age at the time of the demise of whichever your parent was? The next column we have is the education, income, and occupation of all your immediate family members. Your father, mother, elder brother, elder sister, younger brother, younger sisters, whatever it is, please write. If they are not earning, younger brother is studying, younger sister is studying, class 12, nil, income is nil, occupation is nil. Don't leave it blank. Then comes your academic qualifications. That is the board in which you have taken your 10th, 12th, graduation, post-graduation, CBSE, ICSE, Rajasthan board, UP board, etc., the year in which you passed that particular exam, the percentage or CGPA, whatever was applicable at that particular time, medium of instructions, and further information about whether you were a day scholar or a boarder. Okay. On the second page of the PIQ, the first paragraph is looking for your age in years and months, 20 years, 2 months, 20 years, 10 months, whatever it is. Height in centimeters, 176 centimeters, 182 centimeters, and weight in kilogram, 85 kgs, 69 kgs, oblique, whatever is actual weight is. Present occupation and income. In case you're working in any of the companies, please mention the name of the company and the income. There are a lot of candidates who are doing freelancing. There are a lot of candidates who get into tuition, education. In case you are earning any money from that, please mention tuition, 2,500 rupees, oblique, whatever you are doing at the current moment, please specify at this place. NCC, the number of training years in years, whatever you have done, whether you're in the Army, Navy, or the Air Force Wing, and what are the certificates you have achieved, Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie. Please mention only those certificates, the copy of which you actually have. You couldn't be writing a certificate, C certificate, sir, I will be getting C certificate next year, hence I have mentioned no. So write very clearly about the certificates which you are in possession of. Games and sports, for whatever duration you have played, whatever level, and whatever your achievement. Now, this is a very thing I would like to clarify here. Not everybody gets a chance to play at national level. Not everybody gets a chance to play at university level. Something. Most of us have played at school level. You know, at colony level, we play cricket, we play football without any certificate. To mention that. To say at school level, I have played cricket for 3 years. Achievements nil. At school level, I played volleyball, football, or whatever. But please don't leave this blank. Leaving anything blank doesn't give a very great impression. It's very difficult to believe that any child has not played any game. You see somebody coming from a small place, a small town or something, you would have played kabaddi, you would have played kho-kho, you would have done running. Something, the children, 100% involved in games and sport, please do make a mention of that. Hobbies and interest. Again, a very interesting column. What is a hobby? Hobby is something in which you indulge when you are totally free and you do it for pleasure. Nobody's telling you to do it. You're interested, a hobby could be cooking. Nobody has told you, please cook rice and dal for me, or you please start cooking. Somebody is interested in gardening. If he's interested in gardening, whenever he has a free time, he will get into the garden, try to gain so many knowledges about himself, so on and so forth. If you have a hobby, please do mention. If not, please develop a hobby. It will do a lot good to you in your life. You ask yourself, what do you do when you are totally free? You're free from the office, you're free from the school, there are no exams, there's nothing which is there. What do you do at that time? Also, at the same time, I would like to caution you, there are a lot of candidates who write sleeping, eating junk food. No, this is British. Don't write these kind of things. It has to be something worthwhile. Please, at every step, you must remember, what are you applying for? You want to become an armed forces officer. Avoid maybe some of these extracurricular activities, any language you've learned, any club you've been participated of, anything extra what you have done beyond your curriculum in the school, please do make a mention of that. Position of responsibility, NTC, whether you've been a corporal, you've been a sergeant, SUO, whatever appointment you have held, and in school, vice captain of house, house captain, vice captain of school, sports captain, etc., you must make mention of that. Nature of commission, you have to be clear in your mind. Are you applying for permanent commission or are you applying for short service? You should know what is a permanent commission. You should know what is a short service commission. What is the term of reference? As on today, for short service, it is 10 plus 4. The 10th year, you give an option. Otherwise, you given an extension of 4 years. Choice of service, Army, Navy, or Air Force, self-explanatory. And details of previous SSBs. Very important. Please do not fudge. Please do not hide. Because at times, all your data, whether you've been to Army SSB, Navy SSB, or Air Force SSB, is available in the recruiting directory. This is especially for maybe some candidates who are 10th timer, 14th timer. At that time, you might like to play with these kind of figures. Highly avoidable. And whatever it is, see, whether it is a percentage of your 10, percentage of your 12, your previous exhibition, these things have got attached as bogies of your life. You cannot, these are facts which have got, if you have got 75% in 10, 75% will remain with you till the end of the life. So there is no point of, you can say, fudging up this data or trying to hide or anything of that sort. So in effect, just one moment, there are some more candidates, let me admit them. There we are. In effect, what has happened is everything, complete data about you, your education, your games and sports, hobbies, extracurricular is available with me on the PIQ. I have formed a mental image about you as to there is a boy who 182 centimeters tall, 75 kgs long, 94% in 10, 96% in 12, certain he is now coming for an interview. Okay, please concentrate on the last two bullets, factual and accurate. I've already emphasized on this. Please do not try to fudge with any of the data. Now, when I touch upon the documentation, I will be telling you all your original mark sheets have to be submitted, and these original mark sheets come to the IO. So if you have written 75% in your class 12, rest assured, your original mark sheets with me, and I will be cross-checking the same with them. This is one area where maximum, you can say, candidates, they fudge or they give wrong details. There is no requirement of giving a wrong detail at all for this. Let me give you a very wonderful example. You see, when I see your mark sheets, now anybody has got 80, 85, 90, 95, 65, it's a very routine mark. It doesn't catch my attention in any way commensurate to your percentage. There was a candidate who would come to me. I'd initially started my interviewing sometime in 2009. He had 33 out of 100 in maths. Now, 33 out of 100 is a figure. This catches your attention. Okay. Now, the boy comes for the interview, and whenever the right time came for the interview, and I clearly asked him, as to please tell me, what was your percentage in class 12? He said, sir, my percentage, he had mentioned 64%. Whereas, on cross-checking from the data sheet, from his mark sheet, it was 54%. So I said, would you be very kind enough to give me the details of all the marks which you got in class 12? So he gave all the marks, sir, physics so much, chemistry so much, physical education 85, this. Sir, maths, I can't remember. Now, it is slightly surprising. If you can remember, 4 subject mark with uncanny accuracy, exactly. How is it that the 5th mark, which happens to be 33 out of 100, you don't remember? You also know you're trying to hide. I also know you're trying to hide. I said, okay, please take 2 minutes. Think. We will not proceed till such time you tell me the exact marks of the maths. Sir, I think I got 69. I said, don't think, be exact. Sir, I got 64, I got 62, whatever number. Finally, said, sir, my final marks are 64. Straight away, I calculate. I said, if I go by the mark which you've just given to me, you should have been 69%. We would have wasted about 2.5, 3 minutes on this. And I said, you better come forward. And please have a look at this is your mark sheet. At 21 years of age, crying and doing what? Sir, I was confused. And this doesn't hold good. Friends, the stakes are very high. You're wanting to become an armed forces officer. This is a very, very shallow thing to adopt, trying to tell a lie, a smart act, or fudge a figure. Invariably, a candidate will be caught in case you try these kind of things. So please don't. Self-promotion and incorrect exaggeration information. This is, you can relate with hobbies, extracurricular activities or something. Candidates write 1, 2, 3, they run short of space, 1 line, 2 line, 3 lines, so many things that they are doing. The hobby and interest and sports as in have to be actuals. Some candidate in the beginning of my tenure as an interviewing officer, somebody say he is written taekwondo. Very fine. You could be playing taekwondo. It's a world level game. It's you can say coming up in a big way. But point is, if you have written taekwondo, I assume you have played taekwondo. Okay. If you have played taekwondo, you ought to know what is the size of the ring. What is the scoring pattern? How many judges are there? Now, if I ask you the first question of taekwondo, you're not aware what is the origin or what are the intricate details of the particular game, you get exposed. And certainly that doesn't go well with. Okay. Now, connected with the PIQ, I would like to just touch upon in very brief about the documentation. The call-up letter, what is given to you is very clear and very explicitly tells you what are the documents you are supposed to buy. If they have said that all the 10th, 12th, graduation, post-graduation certificates are supposed to be carried in originals, they have to be carried in originals. It would be very, I will say, a futile effort that you travel to the SSB from your place of residence and at document stage level itself, you are not permitted to permitted in stage 2. It's a very, you can say it would be very silly, a waste of time, effort, money, everything. Please don't go there and say, okay, sir, I have a photostat and I'll get the originals later or something. More often than not, you will be, you can say, rejected at the documentation stage. Nowadays, because of COVID, since last year, a majority of exams have got either postponed, delayed, or anything. Okay, coming back to provisional certificates. Whenever you're going for the SSB, please do take a provisional certificate from the principal or registrar of your university, of your college, which clearly says that you have given exam and your results are likely to be out. You will have a confirmed degree before you join the training academy for training. For any reason, if you do not qualify in the qualifying exam, before you join the training academy, again, it would have very serious ramifications to the extent of cancellation of your candidature. Carry all certificates, your rest certificate, indemnity bonds, your tickets. Anybody who's from a defense background or any other background who can avail concession, please do not avail concessions. Every candidate who comes to the SSB is authorized AC 3-tier fare from the place of your residence, from wherever you have come, to the SSB on production of the bona fide tickets. Okay, the last part is technical entry degree as per notification only. Now, for every entry, The notification is published in all leading newspapers. It's 26 newspapers in which these notifications are specific to the technical entry. The vacancies are given. In technical entry, say for example, for TGC, there are 60 vacancies. The exact division and bifurcation of each 60 degrees given. Civil, 14 vacancies, mechanical, 18 vacancies, blah, 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 blah. In case it is electronics and communication engineering, then please ensure that you have graduated, like what I told you, was the certification name and matriculation certificate. The same analogy is here in your degree and the one which is mentioned in notification. There are no ifs, there are no buts, there is no equivalence for AICTE, UGC, or any other panel. If it is computer science with data analytics, please don't come and say, sir, I've come with computer science with big data. And they would have data, they have something common, so please admit me. No. SSB में ये पत्थर की लकीर है. It is a non-negotiable line. Your degree has to be matching with the notifications right to the last letter of that. There is a lot of history to that. When I was director recruiting way back in 11 to 13, maybe we were not so strict about saying there were lots and lots of court cases. In practically every technical entry, we used to have 30 to 40 guys lined up outside the office. Sir, meri ye degree hai, aapne ye manga hai. Why is this not applicable and why am I being rejected, so on and so forth. Now, the recruiting directorate has become very smart. We are absolutely clear that we are going to entertain candidates who are exactly having the kind of degrees what is required in the armed forces. Okay, before I proceed, anyone having any questions or any clarifications up to the place what I've covered so far?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Preeti. Please go ahead.
Sir, as you said that we have to mention about our hobbies, which have to be factual. Sir, what will be like write about our interests, sir? Like, is there any difference between hobbies and interests, or it have to be the same thing?
Your friends say कि चलो आज ना cycling के लिए चलते हैं.
Yes,
We go for cycling for 50 kilometers and that is once and for all. Just because friends ने बोला था हम चले गए काम कर लिया. Hobby is something which is a much advanced level. It's a sort of a passion. आपको जब भी मौका मिला खेत में पहुंच गए गार्डनिंग चालू कर दी. किसी की हॉबी रीडिंग है. Whenever he gets a time, he will have at least he will be reading 3 novels at that particular time. Somebody got a hobby of calligraphy. वो अपनी calligraphy करेगा. Somebody will do painting, sketching, or something. Okay. So don't go by the you can say per se definition of what is an interest and what is a hobby. It is something what you do for pleasure when you are totally free. मैं दूसरों को क्या example दूं? मैं अपना example देता हूँ. My hobby is Indian Railways. My father is not in railways. I have never been in railways something. But when I went for the SSB, I had 38 railway time. Udit, can you please stay on mute? Udit? Yeah, thank you. When I went for my SSB on 18 September 1983, that is the time I had 38 railway timetables with me. And you will have to believe the kind of knowledge I had for railway was any train, any part of the country, I would have told you it runs from where to where and what was time. That is the kind of madness I had for, that is what you call a hobby. Okay, so you have to be very serious about that particular hobby. Agar hai, bahut achhi baat hai, nahi hai, please develop a hobby. Get into reading. Reading will help you in all aspects of life. Reading other than your textbooks or something, that's all. You see all the novels what are written by these authors, whether it is English or Hindi or something, these are research works. That guy has given years of his research to write that 340-page novel. You know, there's so much of knowledge in there. So please get into reading a book and develop a hobby and be serious about it. Okay, Preeti?
Yes, sir, I got it, sir.
Right. Anybody else?
Sir, can you please give me like a short definition of interest? Maybe I'm not clear about it.
Interest is something I do not know the exact Oxford dictionary. Hobby for sure, I'm very clear about it. Interest is something.
Sir, yes, sir. I got about hobby, like writing is my hobby. So what can I say is my interest, sir? If I'm feeling the
don't
PIQ.
get into per se meaning of interest and hobby ऐसा जिसमें आपको खाली टाइम में जो चीज आप करते हो आप कृपया करके वो लिख दीजिए. There's no column. Interest is 1, 2, 3. Hobbies is 1, 2, 3.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Anybody else? Right.
Yes, sir. Good
Yes,
morning,
sir.
sir.
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Yeah, please, Nepo.
Sir, I have a hobby, but due to some certainty, I cannot continue with the hobby. So, like, I used to pursue that hobby 4 years back, but
It's
now I
okay.
cannot pursue because.
That's okay. You see, जब आपके पास time था आपने किया. Now you don't have time, so you're not doing it. But sooner or later, if that interest is deep down from your heart, whenever you get time, you will get back to that. So please mention that. No hang-ups.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. It is not that कि आज की तारीख में interest हो सकता है, maybe because of your studies, because of your job or something, you're not able to pursue that. You're not getting that kind of free time to indulge in that. So please do that. Okay. Right. So we will now proceed ahead and now come to the.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Vishwadeep, that would be the last question. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. So, like, I am in NCC and I have not got any appointment. So, will it a negative effect on my personality?
Certainly
during the
not.
interview?
Certainly not. सबको थोड़ी appointment मिलता है. There is just one SU in one college. Huh?
Yes, sir.
So you don't have to worry about it. You just write the fact. The fact itself, you're in NCC is a very good thing. It goes to your credit. Okay, everybody doesn't get a chance to become a SEO, sergeant, or anything of that sort. Okay, so don't worry about it.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome. Okay, so now let's come to the specific topic of the class as such, about the overview of the interview technique. Before I start speaking, I would like one or two of you, please tell me, what do you understand by an interview? What is an interview as per you?
Yes, sir. Good morning. Can I say, sir?
Ayush, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have been to SSB in EFSB 3 EFSB Gandhinagar. So, according to me, what I have experienced is that through interview, the SSR assesses the candidate in such a way that how he is conscious in a particular that stage. Sitting there in front of the SSR, how does it respond to the sir, and how does it respond to the questions which are asked to him. So how is he conscious? That is what is checked in this interview. I think that.
Okay, very fine. Good attempt. Anybody else?
Sir, I like to say that interview is something where the assessor discovers the person.
Fantastic. Discovers the person. Okay, one more last thing before I take on. One more candidate to answer.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, SSB is like it has an X-ray of the person.
X-ray of a person. Okay, you kids are generally on the right lines. See, the Oxford Dictionary defines the interview as face-to-face meeting of persons for a purpose of formal conference on some point. Face-to-face meeting, purpose of formal conference on some point. Two kids, two friends standing under a tree and discussing movie review of Radhe. That will not be an interview. Okay. Another definition is a personal meeting and conversation between two or more persons with an object of gaining info about the person who are taking part in the interview. Why is emphasized on two or more persons? In a SSB interview, it is two persons, you and me, candidate and the IO. There are interviews like UPSC, in which you have panel interviews. You have 6 assessors and 1 candidate sitting in between. So it could be 2 or more persons with the object of gaining information about a person who's taking part. This means I have a purpose to gain information about you. Okay, right. Now the interview, there are many kinds of interviews: direct interviews, indirect interviews, stress interviews, panel interviews, etc. We will not discuss that. We will just talk about the interview at the SSB. The Brigadier Gulati had mentioned in the start of the lecture that a normal interview lasts for about 40 minutes to 1 hour. Okay, time is at premium. So a candidate is very skillfully guided. I don't have time to waste. There are sometimes candidates, take off on a different tangent. I ask you something and you take on a different thing. I'll get you back on a course. I will not let you waste the time. Mainly indirect questions. Spontaneous response. I cannot give you, you can say 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or anything more time to think about an answer. Because the more the time I give you to think, you will give me a answer which you feel कि जब मैं ये बोलूँगा तो आयु को अच्छा लगेगा. If I give this answer, the IU will feel good about it. What I call is a politically correct answer. No, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the spontaneous response, optimum information, and judicious use of time. I will not let you do guideline. Even if you want to digress from a topic, I'll get you back on the topic. I'll change the position. I'll tell you whatever it is, but I cannot afford. In this time, I have to discuss with you at the same time. I have to gauge all your qualities, get down to the grades, shades, marks, etc. There are a lot of things which are there. So there is no scope of wasting time as far as the interview is concerned. It is a skillfully guided interview, and whatever information about you and your life is there is the one which I would like to know. Okay. Now, some of the prerequisites before you get on to the interview proper. The moment you get onto stage 2, the day you have cleared stage 1 and stage 2, same day in the evening, on the notice board of wherever lines, wherever you are staying, a detailed program of interview of all the candidates is pasted. Suppose you have gone to 21 SSB in Bhopal, then in the notice board of 21 SSB, detailed program of all, suppose 30 candidates have got retained in stage 1, and their infrastructure details of interviews of all 30 candidates will be pasted on the notice board as to who's going to be interviewed by whom, by president or by deputy president. Okay, in army boards, we have only president and deputy president. Whereas in the Air Force boards and the naval boards, you've got, besides the president and deputy president, a lot of IOs, additional IO 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will be very clear as to who is going to interview, when, on a psych day, at what time, on a GTO 1 day, what time, GTO 2 day, at what time. Okay. It is quite possible at times you could be in 21 SSB, but you're going to be interviewed by deputy president of 33 SSB. You know, one of the assessors, interviewing officers of 21 SSB is not well, he's on leave, he's engaged somewhere else, then you could go something. So all these things are very, very explicitly made clear and put on the notice board. None of you should have any doubt as well. Otherwise, ground staff is always available to clarify as to where you're going in case you have a doubt. Point about dress. The complete SSB is a formal affair. At every step, there is formality. So your dress also will be formal. My definition of formal dress would be a light colored shirt, dark colored trouser, matching shoes, and matching socks. Tie is an optional thing in case you want. You can put on. Belt would be there invariably because it's the summer seasons now. At least for next 6 months, there's no requirement of pullovers, oblique jackets, oblique blazers, or anything of that sort. Okay, light colored shirt, dark colored trouser, matching shoes. Say if you have a light colored shirt, could be anything, light brown, light blue, gray, or whatever it is, off white, white, and whatnot. Your trouser, blue, black, brown, dark colored, anything what you have, gray or something, and matching shoes. Okay, socks also have to be generally of the same kind. Could have a dark colored socks. Nobody's interested in your likings of color schemes. You may be putting on vibrant colors outside or something, but as far as this is concerned, confine yourself to this. For ladies, most of the ladies put on shirt and trousers and jackets. Otherwise, salwar with minimum makeup. Salwar kameez is a perfectly normal dress. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Next we touch upon is, okay, one point I missed out about what dress was. Now this is dress, what I've given is for majority of the candidates, except for the first 2 candidates who are going to be interviewed immediately after GTO 1 and GTO 2. That is, on GTO 1 day, 2 candidates would be going to president and 2 candidates would be going to deputy president. These 4 candidates will be in their GTO dress. White trouser, white t-shirt, white PT shoes and whatnot. धूल मिट्टी लगा हुआ जैसा भी है, हाथ मुंह धो के आप चले जाइए. The rest of the candidates get adequate time in hour plus to go back to the line, freshen up, switch over to the fresh dress and report for the interview as such. Okay. Most cut 100% interviews are carried out in closed door rooms. When you are in the waiting room, there are digital flashboards of say President 21 SSB. And when President 21 SSB digital flashboard flashes 21, this means President 21 SSB is calling chest number 21. Chest number 21 goes, knock, knock, knock. May I come in, sir? Please come in. And the moment you enter, good morning, sir, good afternoon, sir, good evening, sir. Maximum, in case you're from NCC or from Armed Forces, Service Entry, Jai Hind. I would request, do not adopt any other method of greetings. It's a formal interview. You are going in for an Armed Forces. Let's confine ourselves to this only. May I come in, sir? Good afternoon, sir. Good morning, sir. Whatever is the right time of the day, sir. Do not get into Namaste, Sahara Pranam, or anything of that sort. In civil, yes, these things might be permitted, but as SSB is concerned, I would find it slightly odd. Okay, confine yourself to, may I come in, sir? Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. After that, I'll take on. You don't have to worry about it. The moment you come in, okay, hi Ayush, how are you? Please take a seat. Now, in pre-COVID times, invariably we used to shake hands. I'm touching upon the point of non-verbal communication. Okay, till now, the only thing what I've said is, hi Ayush, how are you? And I offer a hand to you. There are two things, but I always say, everybody says you need to be confident. You need to be confident as far as the SSB is concerned. One is external confidence. You're standing in front of me, very fine, sir. I'm very fine, sir. How are you, sir? Oh, thank you. I'm also very fine, Ayush. The moment I shake hand, I'll give you my personal examples, what I felt. Initially, I used to get slightly, you can say, I wouldn't say amused as to the way things are. In summers, when I've shaken hands, I had to pull my hand back. The candidate's hands were as if it's out of a freezer of a fridge. Freezing cold. And in winters, when I shake hand, the hand is full of sweat. Now, what are these? These are non-verbal communication trying to depict your internal state of affairs. Okay? Okay, let me first finish this non-verbal communication. The candidate is made to sit approximately 8 to 10 feet away from the IO. I'm an IO. I have a table 3 feet in front of me, and the 7 to 8 feet is this. This is primarily to observe the non-verbal communication and body language. See, body language supports what you are saying quite a lot. Okay, we shall just talk about this. Let me finish the other 2 points, confidence and repeaters, and then I'll come on to non-verbal communication. Confidence is the same thing. What I'm trying to emphasize is, confidence is what? First is external confidence. There are candidates who sweat profusely. They're not able to speak. They're incoherent. क्या बोल रहे हैं ना उसको समझ आ रहा है ना मुझे समझ आ रहा है. इतना मतलब nervous. See, a little bit of nervousness and anxiety will be there, and it is necessary. It's a must. That's the thing what keeps you going. But that nervousness and anxiety can't be so much that you're not able to speak. इतना तो आपको control करना पड़ेगा. Okay, you have to control your body language. The points what we'll be seeing in the next slides. A very important point for repeaters. Lot of repeaters ask, sir, what is the difference between an interview of a repeater and a fresher candidate? If you ask me personally, for first 3-4 times, if it is a repeater, it makes no difference to me. I will treat you as a fresher and I'll continue the same way of thinking. But beyond that, you will agree it's a human nature. If I'm clearing a 11th timer, I have to be 100% sure that I am correct in my assessment. Okay, so don't carry unnecessary hype about. Actually, in first time, what happens? Nervousness is there. The candidates are not familiar with the system. So there is a lot of nervousness because the candidates do not perform well in the interview. Second time, third time, you have better familiarity. You are expected to perform slightly. Okay. Now we come to something very interesting, that is the non-verbal communication. These are involuntary actions. आप बोलते बोलते अपने हाथ चलाते. You know, you don't even know how you are using your hand. Okay. I ask a question, you look on the wall at that angle. Rather, this used to happen very often with me. You know, whenever a candidate used to look there, I used to look at the wall and say, okay, yeah, something very interesting. The answer is there for some. So you have to control your uncontrolled body movement. It should not be such that it attracts my attention. Little bit of movement, shaking of it. We are not being statue as like small kids. So I don't expect you to be a statue for 40-45 minutes. Thoda bahut movement chalta hai, but it has to be normal. But it should not be something itna zyada ho ki it attract my attention. Facial expression. I ask you a tough question and there is a change in your facial expression. You fall back, your eyes become wide or something. The most common and telling. Okay, I ask you a sort of a question, something to do with your emotions. You become emotional. Okay, body movements, your hand movements, your unnecessary shifting of your legs, hand gestures, unnecessarily extra nodding. Again, don't do anything extra which attracts my attention. Your posture, either you are smart, alert with your back on a chair, or you're stooping down or leaning down on one side, giving me a total disinterested look or something. That's all. Eye contact, very important thing. Your eye, whether it moves in any direction, gives me an indication of some particular attribute. I would advise most of you should maintain eye contact. And this got nothing to do with questions. You know, if you know a question, good enough. You don't know a question, good enough. But that doesn't mean if you don't know a question, start looking down and start avoiding, or start looking left, start looking right, or anything of that sort. Your speed, volume, tone, modulations are there. Okay. As I said, one of the first line when I started my lecture was that it's a personality interview. It's not a GK interview. It's not a technical interview. It's not a physical interview. It's a personality interview. I am going to gain information about you and the way you have handled your life. Okay, how have you been in with your family? How have you been in your academics? Have you participated in games and sports? How do you utilize your free time? You just sleep. There are some candidates who come and say, sir, what is your hobby, sir? I like eating aloo ka paratha and then sleeping. This is a kind of a very kiddish answer. Okay, do you indulge in something constructive? And then is, in case you're working somewhere, something about the job details, so where are you working, what is the kind of environment you have, pay, etc., and self-evaluation and motivation. Now, how these things are asked in an interview. So far, up to non-verbal communication, what we covered was you were in the waiting room, you were called, you have entered, and you have taken a seat. Right? And now the interviewing officer, initially, for first about 2, 3, 4 minutes, he wants to put you at ease. They will ask you simple questions as to where are you coming from? Oh, Rajasthan, that's a beautiful place. Tell me about the state of Rajasthan or something of that sort. How was your journey? Did you come by road? Did you come by plane? How was your, describe your plane journey? What was the first time? You know, these are all very general talk. What is there? What is there? Okay. Basically to calm down and cool down whatever extra nervousness what you have. Then there are certain instructions which are given. Please listen to this very carefully. The interviewing officer will convey to you, okay, Vishwajit, what we will do now is next about 40 minutes or so, we will talk about you and your life. Feel free to talk about yourself. We're going to talk in English. Should you get stuck up anywhere, please switch over to Hindi, but try to come back to English at the earliest. There's some water kept on your right. Use that water during the course of interview. In case I'm going too fast or too slow, or any question of mine you don't understand, ask me to repeat. I'll do the needful. So what have I told you so far? We will talk in English. The moment you have first comma, semicolon, or full stop, please switch over to Hindi. And then, जब आपका वाक्य खत्म हो गया है, then come back to English. That flow should be maintained. Some people from small towns, maybe from villages, they don't have that kind of fluency. They have not studied the English medium. They have started English pretty late in life, so the fluency is not there. No problems. Start in English, switch over to Hindi. जैसे last 5 minutes में मैं खुद क्या करूँ, मुझे खुद नहीं पता मैं English कितना बोल रहा हूँ, हिंदी कितना बोल रहा हूँ. But flow is maintained. That's what you are. Water in case you want to use. अगर if I'm talking too fast, आपको समझ नहीं आ रहा, ask me to slow down. You know, any question which you have not understood, you can ask me to repeat. So these are the instructions which are given to you, and then the proper interview. There are basically 5 broad heads: schooling and academics, family background, hobbies and interests, job details, and interest. Okay. Now these are asked as what most of the candidates call is rapid fire questions. At this juncture, I would like one of you to tell me what all things happen in your school? Let me give you a lead. In school, you go for studies, then you have exam, then you have percentage. Tell me the other things, what happened in school.
Sir, in the last session, Sir Rabi taught us that in schooling, sir, the first thing we do.
Who's calling, please? Who's speaking, please? Who's speaking?
Preeti, sir.
Okay, Preeti, go ahead.
So, sir taught us that the first thing we learn in schooling is that that socializing with others.
Okay, what else? Tell me other things. Who all are in the school? बाकी क्या क्या activities हो school में? बहुत सारी चीजें होती हैं.
So sports.
Very good. Academics मैंने बता दिया. Exam percentage मैंने बता दी. Sports.
So we learn about competitive exams and like competitions.
Competitive exams, your extracurricular activities, your
Yes,
games
sir.
and sports you have already covered. Who all do you have in the school? Teachers. Then you have friends.
Yes, sir.
You have friends whom you like, friends whom you don't like. Commerce वाले section को नहीं like करूँगा, science वाले को करूँगा, so on and so forth. So these are the things which are asked by the interviewing officer as a CIQ. And how is this asked? Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, Preeti, shall we start the interview? Yes, sir, we should start the interview. So what we're going to do, Preeti, is we first going to talk about schooling and academics. And in that, I would be keen on knowing about your percentage starting from class 10th, work upwards to your highest level of education. Talk about the subjects you had, subjects you liked, subjects you didn't like. What are the competitive exams what you have taken and the results thereof? Tell me about your friends. Good friends, not so good friends. Games and sports you played, extracurricular activities you participated in, and what is your alternate career option? अब आप ध्यान दीजिए, जो भी क्वेश्चंस मैंने पूछे हैं, these are all the things what Preeti has told. एक क्वेश्चन मैंने ऐड कर दिया, what is your alternate career? My word of advice to you is, you don't have to get extra nervous, public terrified with rapid fire questions. अरे क्या पूछ लिया आपने? No, these are all simple things what every one of you has done in the school. You have studied, you had subjects you like, you didn't like, you appeared in exams, you gave percentage, you had competitive exams, you games and sports were there, extracurricular was there. That's all. So don't have to get unnecessary hyped about it. Kya puchega and how will I answer? Don't bother about the sequence. You answer whichever you want to answer, please answer, but answer. Okay, I'm not bothered that you answer exactly the same sequence. And these are all simple things. I would request you is, whenever you have time, इसको खाली बैठ के इसका video चलाओ अपने दिमाग में. When I was in class 12th, what were the subjects I had? Why did I like maths? Why did I not like chemistry? What percentage did I get? Was it the best I could have done something better? What games did I play? What extracurricular? And so on and so forth. Okay. Similarly, for family background, info about your parents. Most of it you have already given in the PIQ. Their education, income, occupation, how many brothers, sisters do you have? What are the parents doing? What does their job entail as such? Are you aware of his job as such? How well do you mix as a family? When we talk of OLQs, there is a very important quality known as social adaptability. How well do you mix in an environment at the earliest? Okay, you have not joined the forces so far. आपके लिए environment अभी तक family ही है. So if you merge and mix very well and perform optimally, I'm sure when you come to the forces, you will perform well and mix up well also. How do you manage your finances, etc., etc. Hobbies and interests, self-explanatory. I think we have spoken about it. Whatever hobbies you have, please brush up your knowledge. In case your hobby is cooking, then have some technical knowledge as far as that is concerned. Okay? Anything what you give. If you say cycling, is it just cycling or you do some sort of professional? What kind of cycle do you have? What are the tournaments? Blah, blah, blah. Job details. Where are you working? What is the working environment like? What is it that you like or don't like? Do you want to continue there permanently or मैं ऐसा टाइम पास के लिए हूँ 6 महीने के बाद मैं आपको हॉप्स के पहन somewhere else if I get a better option? And connected question. And the last part is your introspection. How well do you know yourself? What are your strengths and weaknesses? Friends, this is not a borrow game. You can't borrow it from your friend and just do name dropping here. It has to be specific to you only. You say you are hardworking and determined, whereas your percentage is showing something else. You say, sir, I'm very good at making friends, but when I have spoken to you about friends, you are confined, you're a very loner kind of person, or having a very small group of friends. You prefer to live a life of your own, or something like that. So everything is cross-checked, and it should not go against. It should not expose you. So these are not name-dropping things. If कोई भी मेरे से पूछेगा फाइल से कि सर quality what I want to improve my handwriting, my vocabulary, and my power of expression. This doesn't give me anything. I'm looking at some personality trait. This is the one why I'm telling you, because majority of the candidates say my handwriting, my POE, and my you can say power of expression, my verbosity or something of that sort. Yeah, coming on to this power of expression, a very big option the interviewing officer will always give you is that you either talk in English or you talk in Hindi. That is fine. Please do not be verbose. There are a high percentage of candidates who come pre-planned. आज इस इंटरव्यू में मैं ये 6 मोटे-मोटे शब्द यूज करूंगा. Now, the moment you use such a word, I'll halt you and ask you the spelling of the word, meaning of the word, and the usage of the word. More often than not, you are not aware. Not done. Confine yourself to simple English. You see, power of expression, which is a very important quality. What is the definition of power of expression? The definition of power of expression is I should be able to convey to you what is in my mind in the simplest and the easiest manner. I've not spoken about language. Language is a medium. Now, it's been about 1 hour and 10 minutes I've been speaking. अब अगर जितना भी मैंने बोला और majority को वो चीज समझ नहीं आई, so it would be a very poor power of expression on my part. Or vice versa, whatever I have spoken, if majority has understood, then it's a good power of expression. I would like to reiterate, power of expression has got nothing to do with the language. Language is a medium. Please join an English speaking course for 3 months. You will speak English better than me. Okay. So this is what is covered in an interview. The normal interview is 40 to 45 minutes. But to take this 40 minutes to 1 hour, beyond that is in your hands. How expressive you are, how good conversation do you have with an IM. I am constant. On a psych day, I have to take 10 interviews. Okay. So I am asking the same questions. But it depends on you, how good conversation you make, how expressive you are. एक छोटा सा example मैं देता हूँ. How many friends do you have? Sir, many friends. You know, somebody say, whereas same question offered to told somebody, sir, I have got 5 friends, sir. I've got my school friends, and my, you know, my Parth is my very good friend, sir. He's right now employed here. इतनी चीजें, friends is one thing, you can go on talking about it. Keep on talking about it, be expressive. जहाँ ज़्यादा होगा, don't worry. I'm going to cut you down a bit, get you in your place and such. Okay, right. Let's move ahead. Just one moment. Okay. So let's now summarize whatever I've spoken till now. Certain do's and don'ts for the interview. Turnout needs to be formal, except for the candidates who are going immediately after GTO1, GTO2. Do not have flashy colors. Nobody's interested in somebody else's color scheme, at least at this juncture. It should be formal. It should be neat and clean. Most of the candidates carry a separate dress exclusively for the interview. It's not the same dress which you had put on for dinner yesterday and you were putting on now. Entry and handshake, neat, clean, simple. Moment you enter, may I come in, sir? Good afternoon, sir. Good evening, sir. And that's it. A firm handshake, what I told you. All 5 fingers, not that dead fish or something, not a knuckle crusher. These are just 3, 4. There are 10, 12 more examples of handshake what we have. Non-verbal communication, please try to keep it under control. घर में जब हम बात करते हैं फ्रेंड्स के साथ में, हाथ कहीं जाता है, सिर कहीं जाता है, नो प्लीज थोड़ा सा उसको टोन डाउन करके लेट्स कीप दैट। ओके, एक्सटर्नल कॉन्फिडेंस एंड इंटरनल कॉन्फिडेंस। एक्सटर्नली तो सब ठीक ठाक ही रहते हैं, बहुत कम होते हैं जिनके पसीने निकलते हैं और दे आर इनकोहेरेंट और समथिंग। कीप योरसेल्फ अंडर कंट्रोल। इफ नीचे पॉइंट बुलेट 7 इज दैट डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन, इफ सपोज अ डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन है आई हैव आस्क्ड जिसका कि आंसर आपको इमीडिएटली नहीं आ रहा, इट्स वेरी नॉर्मल टू से सर कैन आई हैव 1 minute to think. See, there are two things, either you know the answer or you don't know the answer. If you know the answer, answer. If you don't know the answer, sorry sir, I don't know, and we go to the next question. If you want to take some time to think and give an answer about it, you're most welcome to do it. But see, at many times it happens. I have asked you one question, which you've not been able to answer. Okay. So what happens is the mind functions at number of planes. You have got stuck up. IPL का net run rate का question पूछ लिया, which I am not aware. Now you are stuck up and thinking only about this question, whereas on ground I have gone and spoken 3 more questions जिसके कि आंसर आपको आते थे. But because you were stuck up on that question, you didn't answer those 3 questions which you knew. So have courage to say, sorry sir, I don't know, chapter closed. Let's get on to the next question and proceed. Be expressive. Anything a question is asked, I am expecting an answer. I am not expecting a monosyllable answer, yes or no. 10th percentage, well, which subject you like? Maths. If you answer in monosyllables, the interview will be over in 12th minute. Both of us won't know what to do after that. Please say, please be expressive. Current affairs, confine yourself to national affairs and important things. What are there? Israel war, Israel-Palestinian war is going on. Drone warfare had taken place, something. But more of national affairs. See, currently what we have is COVID is an ongoing thing. It will continue for many more months to come. Have detailed information about it. In your elections which have taken place, you ought to be aware of what is happening around you. You can't be clueless. And I don't have to emphasize, you need to be 100% truthful in the interview. Please don't even try anything. What is the maximum? Sir, I don't know the answer. If you don't know the answer, just say don't know the answer and move ahead. Do not try, don't waste time. Don't say something else confidently, because IO is fully aware. Generally, the IOs are, just to give you references, IOs would be 50 years and above. The higher the rank, the more the age. He's fully aware, he's mature enough to differentiate between what is a mistake and what is a kiddish nature, what is current affairs and what is right, what is wrong. So please do not try to be anything other than truthful. जिंदगी में जितनी भी चीजें होंगी, सब चीजें आपकी लाइफ ऑफ ट्रेन ऑफ लाइफ में अटैच होते जा रहे हैं, and you can do nothing about it. If suppose you had 40% in class 12, अब उसके बारे में दुखी होने से कोई मतलब नहीं है, अब दुखी होना चाहिए था. That's why I did 40, unless you have a very justifiable reason for that. Now let's see what are the don'ts. Casual dress, adequately emphasized till now. Non-verbal communication, you have to keep it under control. Looking left, looking right. एक आध बार देख लिया, one can understand, but it cannot be every question I ask and you start looking at the wall or looking down or anything of that sort. Shifting your legs unnecessarily, changing your position more than required. Eye contact, etc. No slangs, no verbosity. Keep it to neat, clean, simple English. You know, some candidates, somebody had come in Bhopal when I was deputy president, he used 5-6 fat words. Delusional, catharsis, and all things, which 99% of us will not use it on a daily basis. When asked the meanings of this, when asked the amplifications of this, you get exposed. Not bad. Non-committal answer, it is good for nothing. It doesn't give me anything. I want your opinion. Secondly, your opinion could be anything, good, bad, ugly. Secondly, you don't have to toe the line. You may like BJP, you may not like Congress, you may not like TMC, or what. You have your opinion. Okay? Difficult questions, buy time, handle it, and it's always good to handle it. There is no question. See, all the questions are pertaining to you and your life. You are the best judge of your life. So there is no question that you're not aware of the answer. You're not aware of that particular aspect of your life. Please do answer that. No smart X, well enough on this. Okay. Now, a point every time I talk, a lot of students ask frequently asked questions. Now, there's no guarantee. Every interviewer has got his own way of asking things. He may ask, he may not ask. There are some people who talk about the state you come from. There is somebody who might not be interested in that particular thing. Okay. Essentially, for the repeaters, past SSB performance, I am expecting a detailed introspection. When I ask a repeater, how was your performance in the last SSB because of which you were recommended, or not recommended, or whatever reason. So I did very well in my past SSB. Now that's a slightly a silly answer. If you had done very well in the SSB, you wouldn't have been here. You would have been in second term of NDA/IMA/OTA. Something essentially has gone wrong. And you as a, what is your performance in your GTO, your site? You know it. I do not know how you performed in GP. I don't know how you perform in PGT. So you have to do detailed introspection and arrive as to where exactly is the problem, where I could have done better. And this can only come by introspection. I am only interested in, have you introspected, or you are still at the same level? If you are at the same level, you'll be the same performance, result also will be the same. Why do you want to be an armed forces officer, Army, Navy, Air Force? It's a very common question. You have to have at least 10 reasons for that. For all three services, organization of Army, Navy, Air Force, your rank structures at the men level, officers level, participation in various wars, just about it, you got to know. These are something essentials which is expected of a good candidate. As far as Army is concerned, what are the arms, what are the services, what is the role of each arm in service? I may ask just one. Okay, tell me, what are the kind of equipments the regiment of artillery has? So you got to be generally aware of what is various equipment, latest acquisitions, what we are doing. Your Rafale has come, your AH-64 has come, S-400 is something which is coming, your Arjun tank has come. You can't afford to be clueless about that. Okay. Then national affairs, what is happening on the international borders, line of control, Galwan Valley, what had happened, what is the latest, what is happening on that. LAC something 4,056 kilometers, always something or other is always on. You got to be generally aware as to what is happening. Current affairs, nation happenings, or COVID details, what is Army's contribution, and what is your opinion about all this, what is happening. Okay. Our state details, I already mentioned some of the IOs asked. At times, certain subject-specific questions also are asked. In case you are doing, say, physics honors, and some simple question pertaining to that. Rest assured, let me assure you, it's going to be a very simple question. Just to try to understand whether you know your basics are clear or not. Okay? Yeah. Let's move ahead. Okay, certain myths about the SSBs, which a lot of the candidates keep on asking is, SSB centers and SSBs are not repeated. In earlier times, 10, 15 years back, the load was very less, so this job was done manually. And it was ensured if a candidate has gone to Bhopal last time, this time he'll not be sent to Bhopal, he will be sent to Allahabad. And after that, if suppose any company, okay, this time he'll be sent to Bangalore. Now what has happened is the number of candidates has increased multifold, and the allocation of centers is done by computers. So at times it is quite possible that you may land up in the same center. For 3 SSB, you have gone all 3 times, you could go to Bhopal. But rest assured, let me tell you, if one set of assessors in 21 SSB had assessed you in your first SSB, that set of assessors will not assess you again. It will be a new set of assessors. There are fixed vacancies in batch. A very wrong or a misconception which is floating around. There is no direction on the SSB as far as selection/rejection vacancies are concerned. If the batch is good, you have to believe me, 40 out of 40 will get selected. And if it is not meeting the mark, then 40 out of 40 will get washed out. The maximum I have seen is 18 out of 42. One of the NDA batches in 2010. 18 cadets getting selected in one batch is a very, very high score. So it is to do with your performance. If this is the benchmark, if you are here, You get recommended. If you're not here, you go back and you come back again. You know, at times I ask a question, okay, what happened in the last SSB that you could not clear this week? Sir, I could not answer one current affairs question. You see, judgment of SSB is a very big thing. It is not given on one question. Sir, he asked me about my father's job. I could not answer it, so I was rejected. No, it's a very misconception. So nobody gives a decision on one question oblique, sir, I could not participate in 1 GD, so I was rejected. It's a misconception. It doesn't happen that way. Okay. Majority of the people now, terminology has come as conferenced out. There is nothing known as conference out, either recommended or not recommended. Okay. Status of repeaters, batching and bias. In case the number of repeaters is good enough to have a separate batch as such, then a batch of repeaters. So out of 42 guys, suppose there are 11 repeaters, then a batch of 11 repeaters is made. If suppose the number is less, then they're equally sprinkled in all the batches. Okay, right. Now, those of you who get selected in stage 2 have to undergo medicals at the nearest MH. So that is all I wanted to cover in last 90 minutes. I've given an overview to you about filling of PIQ, the kind of seriousness of documentation, and a very brief overview of the interview technique. And I've also touched upon the medical qualifications, public rejections, what you have. In case any one of you has got any questions, most want to ask me now.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, Nivedita, please.
Yes, sir. When we joined the class at Flame, you gave us some of the CIQs in the rapid test form, which we can have a sort of practice and mirror practice, which you insisted. Can we have that CIQs again?
I would request all the candidates not to mug up the CIQ. See, what is a CIQ? What one of the candidates had told, she told in a school. In family, I'm asking details about your father, mother, brothers, sisters. What is to, you don't do mugging up this thing. If you get into mugging up this thing, see, if the IO changes the question, or he doesn't ask a question deliberately or inadvertently, then you will get stuck up, you will get in your own loop. So go to the interview with an open mind. Be present physically and mentally at that moment. Once you've gone for the interview, that time don't say, Colonel Ashish Sharma told this thing, this thing. He may not ask, if I have given you 11 FIQs, he might not ask even a single of FIQs. He may ask you altogether a different question. Okay, so don't get stuck up to CIQ such. What I want you to do is, what I want you to run is a video of your schooling, your family background, your hobbies, your interest. Okay?
Okay,
Is it
sir.
clear, Nivedita?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, next.
Good morning, sir.
Who's this?
Sir, Ryan.
All right, please.
Sir, actually, it's a very simple question, sir. So, like, sometimes it happens that when the IO asks a question, like, I'm not able to answer the question, but the IO insists on answering the question, sir. What is the best option at this time?
Sir, ऐसा कौन सा question है जो आंसर नहीं कर सकते तुम बताओ?
Sir, like,
I'm asking you, you can say US,
no,
China strategic policy or something.
So, like, some simple current affairs question, like, which I'm not able to answer, like, because I don't have the required knowledge.
I would maintain, you see, there are two things. Either you know the answer or you don't know the answer.
Yes,
so,
sir.
It could be something to do with your personal attributes or personal life, which I am emphasizing again and again. But for current affairs or anything, and for most of the questions, there is either yes or no. Okay. At times, you don't have the detailed knowledge of that question. You have knowledge. It happens. So you may say, sir, I am not fully aware of the answer of this question, but I have some information. May I? More often than not, I will tell, okay, you tell me whatever you know. Okay, three things. You know it, you don't know it, or you know it partially. Okay. Very rare that you will continue emphasizing iska answer mere ko do. It could be some personal trait, जो कि normal बातचीत से नहीं निकल रहा है, which is not coming out in the normal conversation. some quality which I want to confirm and reconfirm. Okay, Ryan?
Okay, sir. Fine, sir. Thank you, sir.
Next, please.
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Yeah, Nipo. Nipo, where are you calling from? Which part of the country?
I'm speaking from Assam, sir.
Okay, fine. Please.
Sir said that we have to be truthful with our answer. And if a person is very passionate to join the army, go for an AFSB, then how will he answer that? Why do you want to join the Indian Air Force?
You, what I gathered from you is the guy is very keen on army, but he's gone for the Air Force SSB.
Yes, sir.
You answer me. Why have you gone for the Air Force SSB if you're so keen on the army?
Because sir, now we cannot leave any more chance as we are coming for the graduation entry, and missing a chance is like and moreover we have a lot of thing regarding the unemployment. So
Don't
I
give
think-
this negative kind of answer. I would say if you're going for army SSB, please say that you are interested in army. If you're going for the Air Force, now you can't go to the Air Force SSB and tell me, sir, I'm interested in army. The first question lies, then why have you come here? Why are you wasting your time and my time? So at least as far as projection is concerned, when you go to army SSB, say you are interested in army. When you go to the Air Force, say you are interested in Air Force. Okay, and have your relevant data backup, whatever you have for that. Okay.
then am I truthful, sir? If I say that I wish to be in the Indian Air Force, if I make up something with some
It's a
data
very,
that
it's a very kind of, I would say, awkward situation. What you are painting, it doesn't happen much. But again, if you go to the SSB and say, sir, there is a lot of unemployment, I have come here. Again, it will not, doesn't give a very good opinion as such. So on one side, you have truthfulness, and now you're going for the last chance to the Air Force, and there you go and say that you don't like army. See, it's a very awkward situation what you're painting. Okay, so just keep it neatly and simple. If you're going for army SSB, sir, I like the army. And if I've gone for the Air Force, then I like for going for, because if you go to the naval SSB and say, sir, I want Air Force, it's not giving a very great impression. And the first thing I'm going to ask you, what are you doing here? If you want Air Force, go to Air Force SSB. I'm not interested whether you are 27 and you reached your last stage or not. A slightly awkward question and an awkward answer would have given you.
Yes, sir.
Next.
Sir, in the 5 days of course, don't the candidate gets any sort of training? It's only about examinations or interview
Sorry, Preeti, once again.
Sir, in the 5 days of course of SSB interview, don't the candidate receive any any sort of training before the interview or the physical activities?
Nothing. In the SSB, you're talking in the SSB.
Yes, sir.
No, SSB mein, there is no question of training. Whatever you see, what are you doing now? The fact itself that you've taken out on a Sunday 1.5 hours, you are training. You are trying to control your mind. You're trying to gain more and more information about it. So whatever training has to be done before the SSB. SSB में तो जाके आप final match खेल रहे हो. You're preparing for the final match. Okay,
yes,
and that time,
yes,
that is the place where you are supposed to score a goal. You see, you attended one lecture, you attended one more lecture on GTU before this, you attended a lecture on GTU. This is all the preparation what you are doing for that final match. When you go for the SSB, you should be very confident. You have all the information. Go with an open mind and perform the way the best what you can. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good, Preeti. Next.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Sayesh, please.
Yes, so yes, sir, as I told that I have been in 3 AFSB Gandhinagar. So they had asked that whether you have pursued any training before or not. So I just told them that yes, I had done. I had been offered the SSB capsule from the Flame Career Academy in the NCC. So I have been that. So was that the answer pursued, or I should not answer that?
Perfectly in order. There are so many coaching academies for everything. There is coaching. For IIT, there is coaching. For JEE, for BITS Pilani, for everything. Medical fest. What is wrong in this? Have you been coached somewhere? Yes, sir. I've been to Balnoi Academy. I did it in last November. I went to so and so academy, or I went to which. Whatever you want to say on that. Be factual.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Next, please. Any more questions?
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, Drashti.
Yes, sir. If we are asked to make a choice between two aspects, should we be diplomatic or should we be clear on our opinion?
100% your opinion. Please don't be diplomatic. Why do you ask? Why do you ask such a question?
Suppose we are asked on election, like, do you support in Congress or Bhajpa or other parties?
I personally would appreciate any candidate who has got his own opinion. You can't be non-committal. BJP is also good, TMC is also good, this is also good. You have to have opinion about something. A candidate at graduate level is 22, 23, 24. By now, you ought to be aware of what's going around you. You ought to see what are your pluses, minuses, and then have your opinion. It is not necessary that your opinion has to be in sync with me. I want you to have your opinion about it. Okay, Drashti?
Yes, sir.
Don't even get this idea of being diplomatic or being double standards on. Whatever you feel, just say that. But then it has to be backed up by some justification. If you say you like so-and-so, why? You don't like so-and-so, why? You know, have some justification for that. Next, please. Anyone else? Okay, if no questions, I'd like to thank all my friends who've taken out these 1.5 hours on Sunday and listened so patiently. I'm also thankful for you to be so interactive and asking such wonderful questions. I sincerely hope whatever I've spoken in last 95-100 minutes, it has made some sense and some material difference as far as your preparation towards SSB is concerned. Thank you very much. I now hand over to Brigadier J.S. Gulati. Gulati, sir.
Yeah, Ashish, thank you very much for the very detailed explanation of the interview technique. Compliments to you. I am sure that the candidates will have benefited and it will stand them in very good stead in the times to come. Okay, boys and girls, you have just heard Colonel Ashish. Last 100 minutes, he has put across to you how to face an interview. He has touched upon the importance of body language, interview etiquettes, dress sense, importance of communication skills, awareness, general knowledge, particularly of the littoral states, that the states which are around your country. He's asked you, he's told you how to analyze questions and how to frame your answers. You keep all that, what he has told you, in mind, and you utilize this information which you have derived now. When you go for your SSB, I am sure it will stand you in very good stead. The webinar was supposed to be interactive. It was supposed to be a dialogue and not a monologue. Drashti, Ravan, Nepo, Preeti, Ayush, all have helped in making it a dialogue. I'm very happy. I only wish some more questions would have come because I'm very, very sure that there are a lot of myths in the environment and you guys would be having some apprehension, some query, some doubt in your mind. And this was the time to have clarified with boys and girls. The next part of the seminar, that is the fourth part, would be held on 23rd May, same time, 1000 hours. That will be on the psychology technique. It will be again an interactive session, and kindly do come prepared with your questions so that at the end of it, our aim of clarifying the myths and your queries is resolved. Thank you very much. Till then, because of the pandemic, remain indoors. Go out only in case you have to. It's absolutely essential. And even then, do double masking. No single masking, do double masking. All the very best. Thank you very much. Have a great time and see you next Sunday, same time. Bye-bye and God bless.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Jai Hind.
Bye, Shruti. Bye.
Thank you.